All right. Good morning, everyone. Um, sorry, just make sure I'm on. Yep, perfect. So let's go over today's plan, what we're doing today. So like every class, at the beginning of the class, we'll go over the concerns from lab 2. So if you didn't get perfect, this is where you need to pay attention, right? Because we need to make those changes before we resubmit, or you'll continually to get marks taken off. So once we finish that, we're going to talk about if statements, one of my favorites. So we've been talking about data validation, which is one of my cool features I like using. We're going to talk about if and ifs statements, and what those are, and how they work. We're going to apply those to today's class. And then we're going to talk a little bit about starting to make, remember I said about last thing we want to do is make our spreadsheets pretty. We're going to start a little bit so we're going to get everything finalized. So we're going to look at alignment. We touched a bit about it last week, but we will get all our headers and titles 100%. And then work on lab 3, which is due at the end of the class. So we should have lots of time. So today's a pretty light day, but I really want to make sure everyone understands if statements, because this is sometimes where if the slip of the finger or the punctuation can really screw things up. So I want to make sure everyone's good with it. So it's a relatively late day, and then it gives you time to do lab 3. So also, just a reminder, so we are in class, live in class next week. I actually get to see everyone's pretty face. We get to see my ugly mug. And I actually won't be in math in class next week. And just as a heads up, because I think there might be some confusion out there. I don't think so much for you guys, but there's been a general vibe from the students. There will be no class recording. So there's nothing to see next week. Does that make sense? Recording, see there. So I know some students thought that it would be a flex, kind of like it was for accounting. There is none for computers. Okay, so no class recording. So this should be our last recording, and then we'll be live next week. And then after next week, which will put us into week 5, we're going to have test number 1 on week 5. Just a heads up. All right. Any questions, comments, anything we want to talk about before we get into it? Everybody's good? Awesome. All right. So let's get into some of the issues from last week. So lab 2. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm multitasking here. I apologize, but I'm trying to deal with some major issues here. Okay. So lab 2. So let's look at just some simple things that were common. Some people didn't make changes. So simple, the file should be called, not Dimba, but you should call DC Skills Camp, right? And some of you are submitting in the Dimba file. So just a heads up, I told you in week 1, don't try and shortcut it by making one file and just working with it. Work with 2 separate files. So you have a Dimba file and a DC Skills Camp file. Don't try and shortcut it because you will make mistakes. Now yours is down here at the bottom. Scribble this out. And this out. Some of you didn't have your tabs, so check your tabs down here. Make sure your tabs are saying membership. Some of you, it says sheet 1 still. What were some of the other issues? Some of you still haven't completed all the info. So we talked about adding the where am I? Oops. Yellow, I should have picked a different color. No emails. Some of you didn't do the memberships properly. So the information put in wasn't accurate. And some of you didn't separate the first and last names like we discussed. Okay. We also talked about making sure that the headers, remember we made sure that we had appropriate headers in last week. Some of you didn't do that. Okay. What else? Some of you didn't do. Some of you, when you inserted the information, it didn't fall under the appropriate spot. When we talked about putting the emails, some of you stuck it in over here. Because remember, when we work on it, and it'll become more relevant today when we do it, we made sure that the personal info kind of fell in one area. The address, the city, and the postal code was in the area. Contact information, email, phone number was together. Some of you had the email over here between the sport and the level. So that was there. So make sure that it flows so it makes sense. Again, keep in mind, our objective here is to make a professional, useful spreadsheet, okay? The other thing that wasn't happened to a few of you, remember we talked about all text, right? So all text is left aligned or left justified. Sorry for delay. Right, so all the names should be like here to the left. Some of you had it in the center. We talked about, and we're not going to do that. We talked about the date being defaulted in the center, and that's fine. Some of you didn't have, the other thing that we talked about was values were numbers. In the center. Right, and the reason we're doing this, so we create consistency. It makes it easy on the eye. So if you look, right, all our text, when we look at our cities, they're all left aligned. Combination of postal codes. We could argue left aligned, but if it has, let's keep it simple. When you put it in as a text, keep it left aligned. So it makes the life easier so that you don't get screwed up. Left aligned, values. So the phone numbers should be centered. So if you don't have that, same with all the text here. So all the pull downs, these should all be left align, right? So some of you weren't doing that, or they're inconsistent. And the last one, which I didn't show here on this example, but remember I asked you to double click on a date and it show the calendar. So it would show, I'm kind of writing all over this, but you get the idea. Remember it showed the calendar, you can pick from calendar. Some of you didn't have that highlighted for me, so you lost marks there. All right. Any questions with regards to that? If I left a comment saying, see me in class, that means there's bigger issues that we have to deal with. So after today's lecture and you guys are time to work on your assignment, you could speak up and we'll maybe go into a separate room if we can, or I may get you to show my screen to make sure that we get you back on track. I don't want you to fall too behind because it's very similar, like I mentioned at the beginning of the semester. You start falling behind, it's very difficult to catch up because I will continue to deduct marks, and that's the problem. All right. No questions at all? Everybody's good? All right. So don't make those changes now. I just want put those in your head, and let's get you guys to open up your Dimba sheet, and let's pull up what we're going to be working on today, and we'll get rock and rolling. So let me stop this share. And for those rolling a little bit late, hopefully you can watch this video and follow up later. Because I see now that we have 21. So some of you that were late, please try to be on time because I won't repeat myself as we go later, okay? Stop sharing. Slide that over. Slide this over. Yep. Stop. Oh, wow, that's just all laggy. That's weird. All right. So can you guys give me a thumbs up when you're ready to go? Or raise your hand. Just do a raise your hand because the thumbs up goes away. Awesome. Perfect. Everyone's good. 7. That's good. It's good. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I think we're all ready to go. So remember, we're working on the Dimba file. Is that the wrong one? That's weird. No, I did. That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is, actually, we'll do the easy stuff first. We're talking about merging and centering. So what I'm more specific at, because this will become relevant when we start doing borders and colors next week. Let's look at our headings and titles. We started this last week and I want to finish this up. So ideally, all your headings and titles should be center aligned, right? Or center justified. So if you haven't done that, you can do that now by, you can either highlight all the cells, and then, like I said, you can go to Format, Alignment, and you can go to Center. Okay, so you hit Center, and then all of them are centered. So that's good. Now, we're going to discuss merging. So you can see here we got first and last name. So it'd be cool, not cool, but also look better if the name was in the middle of the first two. So what we can do is we can merge the two cells, which is kind of cool. We can either do it vertically or we can do it horizontally. So in this case here, what we can do is we highlight the two cells that we're going to merge, and we can go to Format, and we can go to Merge, and then it gives you options. Merge all, which is vertically and horizontally, but because I only have it highlighted horizontally, it only gives you the option. So we're going to merge A1 and A2 horizontally. And then you can see how the name populates and goes into the middle. And now these are into the one. So let's do that for all the ones. So now the headings will now be above the two titles. So that was one way. Also, if you look in your toolbar up here, this little image here that has like the two arrows pointing each other around the box, that's also another shortcut to it. So we can just pull down, we can merge all. And of course, the other way to do it is you can right click. It's taking it away. Oh, if you hit more actions, usually it's in there. Don't worry about it. So we're just going to use this toolbar. Contact info was that one. So we're going to merge those two. Sport, level, and membership, those are all kind of separate. So we'll leave those ones. But what we will do, instead of leaving, because what we don't want, this is a key thing, we don't want to leave blank cells, right? That happens a lot. People not sure what to do with it. So here you have this cell, and this cell, K1, J1, K1, all empty. So if we're not going to use it, let's make it look professional, and let's merge it vertically. So same thing, let's highlight the two cells. We're going to hit merge, merge vertically, and it merges them. Okay. Now another little shortcut, you could do it that way, but you could also do it, should let you, no, it won't let you do that, sorry. We'll merge, I was going to say you can shortcut it, but it won't. So let's merge. Oops. Let's merge the cells vertically. And then we're good. Now the only thing, now you have, if you look at this cell just on its own, all these cells actually, if you look at them, it looks odd because the sport is at the bottom of the cell. Levels at the bottom of the cell. It's in the middle, but it's at the bottom. So it doesn't look cool. Like it's not actually cool, but it doesn't look professional. We can make it look better, right? So we know what we're doing. Because you'll end up with this big space. And at the end of the day, we want to make it look proper. So this is where we can, so now we've merged the two cells. Now we can change the alignment. Now we've been talking about alignment, how we can merge it left and right. You can also merge it to the top, the middle, or the bottom. And you can see when it's grayed over that it's at the middle, or sorry, at the bottom. But let's move it to the middle. So any text, and you can do that by going to Format as well. You go Format, Alignment, and you can go middle. You could also highlight, you can do multiple cells at once. So you go to Format, Alignment. Like I said, there's multiple ways to do it. Hit middle, and boom, they're at the middle. Now it looks nice, clean, professional, right? Does that make sense, everyone? And this is why I was saying before, it's really nice, especially when we start doing borders, and you'll see some things that I like to do that I think make it look really professional. That this will make it look even much better. All right. So let's merge those cells, and the last three in this case here, we can merge horizontally and vertically aligned, and then you're good to go. All right. So do that now. Anyone have any questions with regards to that? Give you a minute to do that. Once you've completed that, can you give me a thumbs up? I think last week I might have went over for 7. Stay. Guys, if I go too fast for you, please ask me to just hold on 1 second. So I don't want to get ahead, right? Because I don't want to have to reteach this if you guys, if I'm going too fast. I'd rather take our time and we'll get it done. Everybody good? Anyone else need another minute? It's your time to speak up. Okay. So now let's get to some cool stuff. We are going to add a shortcut so that, let's think of this for a second. Let's kind of get our head wrapped around this, right? We want people, when they select the membership, we want to kind of see how much if they pay. So we're going to need to go back and find out what the fee was. See quickly what it is, right? We're going to have them show it so we can analyze it so we know how much money we're making. So I'm just going to quickly cancel this. If you guys want to take a sec and open up durhammountainbiking.ca and go to the association, the Dimba Mountain Bike Association, and let's see what their prices are for their adult memberships and whatever they were. What was it? Adult. So their membership type, there was youth membership, adult supporter, family membership, family supporter. So we need the prices for each one of those. So if we go to the Dimba membership, so we go to membership. There's the information I pulled, and there's the prices. So $20. If you guys have a pen, maybe Ron will write this down and be helpful. So youth membership, $20. Adult membership is $40. Adult supporting is $100. Family membership is $100. And family supporting is $150. All right. We won't worry about automatic renewal and all that kind of stuff. And then we can sign up. And we'll disregard the one-time payment for now. All right. So we've written that down because we're going to input that in. Sorry, I'm just trying to see which one I got. I'm using this one. Sweet. Okay. So we don't want to, just gonna move this around. We could manually type it in, but the object of having a spreadsheet is when you input data, everything populates automatically, right? So what Google has, as so is Microsoft, it's called if and if statements. There's actually a really good video under content in week 3 that really goes into a depth. It's about 20 minutes long. I thought about playing it in class, but you know what? I thought if you guys want, you guys can watch it on your own. But let me explain it a little bit. Let me pull up my sheet. One sec here. Okay. We'll give this a go, see how well this works. So basically, if statements are it's a formula that allows if something is true, and what that formula would be a logical function, they call it. Okay. So for example, say cell A2 can be either equals, it can be, anyone know what that symbol represents? Checking your, is it algebra? No.
Yeah. Greater than.
Yes, greater than. And then this is, what's that? What does that represent?
Less than.
Yeah. Okay, so you can actually, so greater than, oh, sorry, equal, greater than, less than. You can even put 2, you can be equal or greater than, or you can do equal or less than. And it can be anything. It could be either a cell, so it could be K5, so whatever is in K5 of any of these logical functions, or it could be a text, which is in quotations. So say so let's say it says hi. So in that example there, obviously greater than doesn't apply. So none of this would apply, the greater than, but the equals to. So if A2 equals hi, then like the logical function. So if this is true, it'll say you can put anything in there. So if it's true, so if this logical function, so if A2 equals hi or a cell, and if it's true, you can put in whatever you want it to be. So you could say hi, then you can give it in quotations, it would put thumbs up. Oops. Okay. And that would put in thumbs up. So if it equals A, if this was true, this logical function, if A2 equals hi or a value, you can put thumbs up or you can put whatever you want in there. Okay. The key then you break it to comma. If it was false, so say it's false. So say it didn't equal, this isn't true. It would be false. Okay. And it's in quotations. Now we don't necessarily want to say false, but I'm just kind of giving you, that's what it kind of defaults to. When you see this terminology, you could put thumbs down. I mean, you could be whatever you want to be, but I'm going to put thumbs down. I'm running out of space. Does that make sense? Like I said, there's a really good video that really gets in depth in it, but essentially this is what it does. So if it's a little confusing, you want to really go through something. He goes through all the examples online. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but that's basically what we're looking at. Okay, that's an if statement. Now, if, not if, but if, for example, we have multiple options. So I don't know, like we're having with ours, we have all these options where there's adult membership, youth supporter, all that stuff. So if you have an if statement and you have multiple options, because this is either true or false. This is it. It's either it's true or if it's false, right? And it's only if there's just one option. But if you have multiple, then we're going to use ifs. So the exact same thing still applies, but we would say, so I'll write it out. Ifs A2, and we'll go through this example in a second, equals high right? Then we want it to, because if it's true, then we want it to say thumbs up. I'm just going to put TH, thumbs up, right? If A2 equals, now you could add a false in there, but we just want it just to keep changing it up. If it says by, I'm just randomly picking stuff, right? Then we want it to, in quotations, right? So it's true. If it says by, and if it's true, we want to give it a thumbs down. And you can keep going on. So also what I say, there's another option. If A2 equals hello, then we can make it say hi if it's true. And it allows us to give multiple, and you can just keep going on and on and on and on. All right, where if you're just using an if statement, and if there's just the if, it only allows you to do one. Ifs kind of gives you ifs, lots of different options. So I like using ifs. It's pretty cool because it basically opens up the realm to do anything. So if it sees something in a cell or something happens in a different cell, in this case, if something happens in A2, all this can happen and automatically populate into it. All right, does that make sense? So we're going to apply that to this one here. So up in the formula bar, you can see up here, this is the formula bar, right?
Derek, I guess we have a couple of hands up. Mikhail and Noah wants to ask you something.
Okay, speak up.
I just forgot to put my hand down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you guys have you put your, just speak up, just interrupt me, okay? Because I can't see. I got so many layers of things. So, but thanks. I appreciate the heads up. Okay. So let's start here. So adult membership. What we wanted to do, we wanted to spit out the price, right? So we want to know. So someone chose, right? Adult membership because they pulled from the pull down. They chose adult membership. We wanted to populate what the price would be. Now we can manually enter it in, but that would be too much work, right? We want to be cool. So let's move up into the toolbar. You can type in here if you want, but I like to just move up into the toolbar. It makes it simple. So so let's get going. So the first option that the website has was the use. So if, so equals, so what happens equals if, sorry, one sec. And you can see when you start putting that, it gives you options. So if you forget, and also sometimes it'll allow you, it'll give you C returns value depending on multiple logical expressions. That's what we want. So you can click on it. It'll actually, can even give you more examples how to, what it means, depending on what version, even in an Excel, it'll sometimes even have a little definition for it. Some will even have a link to kind of go through examples with you. So we're going to do ifs because we're going to have multiple functions. So if you click on it, so if, and it's bracket, everything has to be enclosed in the bracket. I think I forgot to mention that when I wrote it on the PowerPoint. So everything has to be in the bracket. So if, what's the cell? So if K2 is the cell, right? Equals. And it's really important, guys, take your time, because if you put a space, a comma versus a period, anything like that will mess it all up, okay? So if K2, sorry, it's not K2 because it's here. See where it's highlighting? It's actually K3. Let's back that up. If K3 equals, because you can see over here it highlights, so that's what we want. So if K3 equals, let's do them in order. So it was youth membership. So take your time, make sure your spelling is correct. Make sure your capitalization is the same as your options. Membership and quotations. So if K3 equals youth membership, we want it to be $20. So we want it to spit out. So we want, has to be in quotations, because in quotation, it'll just put in whatever it's there. It doesn't recognize it as text. It doesn't recognize it as values. It just recognizes something that just goes in between it. It can be anything. So in this case, we want it to be $20. Okay. Close quotations. Okay, so now if I were to close bracket, so end it, and I hit enter. Oh, because I'm taking is it because it's only one. Oh, it's no match. It's not finding it, right? Yeah, because there's no match. But if it was adult membership, so if I change this to youth, what is it? Youth membership. It'll say $20. Okay, so that's kind of cool. But because it says adult membership, it's not working, right? It's no match. So let's go back to our formula. Click on the cell. And let's write down, let's do all the options. So then after the $20, we put comma. And it's K3 equals, if K3 equals, what was the next one? Adult membership. Comma. And then we want it to be, the adult membership was $40. That's what that'll be true. Perfect. And now if K3 equals, so it takes a while. So just do all of them. So it was, and I'm just doing them in order. Adult supporter. Make sure our spelling is correct. Oops. Also make sure it's case sensitive. Make sure it matches it exactly. So there's no issues. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. So if it says adult supporter, we want it in quotes. Adult supporter is $100. Okay. Keep moving along. Adult supporter. So it's K3 equals family membership. Then we want it, if it's true, then we want it to spit out family membership is $100 as well. Make sure you're closing it with the quotation mark. It's important. Comma, moving on. And if K3 equals family supporter. That's one. Supporter. comma, then we want it, whoops. We want it, comma. Then we want it to spit out family supporter was $150. $150. Quotation. And we are done. There's no more. Okay. So we have it all written down and then we're all good. And it actually tells you, see if you up in here, this is new, I think that's year, it actually tells you what the answer will be. So it's kind of, so you know it right away without having to enter, but anyways, it kind of gives you a heads up if you type something wrong. See if I backspace it. Oh no, sometimes it goes away. Anyways, so we need to make sure that we close bracket and then we're good. So we're gonna hit enter. Okay. Now, we have two options, which is kind of nice now. They're using this autofill, it pops up as a window automatically. So if we wanted to do that, we click yes, and it would carry it all down. And it even shows it in gray, what it's going to look like. So you don't have to go, I screwed up and go back. So that's one way. So if we use that, we can go check. So I'm going to reject it. You guys can do it. But the other option is we can just do click. We could go copy. And it's going to copy the formula all the way down. And then I'm going to right copy, paste. And it puts it all there. Okay. So now when we change our membership, it automatically changes the dollar amount, which is pretty cool. Wouldn't you agree? All right.
It is, but it's like kind of tedious. You can't remember the formulas that can create a problem.
Yes. Once you get it down right, and it's good, but it makes it, that's why it's really, get used to doing it a certain way. Some good habits. It's just like anything, it's like accounting, right? You just do it in good habits, do it the same way. And then when we're creating spreadsheets, that's the other reason why we're doing it this way. I'm not getting you guys to do borders, all that pretty stuff. Because that's usually where everyone makes the errors and it just becomes a huge logistical nightmare, honestly, trying to fix it. So if you do it this way, there's less chance of that happening. Okay. So one last thing is we're going to add in, actually, you know what? I'm going to put a title here. This will be the amount due. So let's have those thing. And then in this one here, we'll put paid. And in this one here, because it will select it, we're going to do it like we did last week, and we'll do it as a pull down option, so data validation. So let's put over here. Remember, we're going to do off the cell, so we do paid, just so that we remember what they're for. And let's put, I mean, it doesn't matter, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. I don't think anyone uses. Anyone have an Amex card anymore? I don't think anyone uses it. I think there's a few people. So those are our three options. It can be whatever you want. You put debit in there if you like. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to add that to our paid function. So if you guys remember from last week, we go to data. We go to data validation. And we want to select data range. So that's the data range that we wanted to go into. List from range, yep. What is the range? We're going to highlight these three here. Show dropdown, yep. Show warning label, yep. Validation help, I always like doing that. And payment. Save. And we're good. So now it should be there. Perfect. So just randomly fill them in, it doesn't matter.
So I took a look at my payments and I took a try at it and I'm getting like an error thing come up.
Okay, so look at your formulas. So look at your, and look very carefully that you have a comma or a space might be put in there accidentally. So just use the undo, and then go from there. Because without me being there, I can't physically see you typing it in, so I'm not really sure what you're doing. So give it a go. Part of spreadsheeting is problem solving. All right, and that's it. So since we're almost done, but we've already said, so since we merged our cells like we did with sport, level, and membership, let's do the same with amount due and paid. So we're going to merge. We're going to merge the two, and then we're going to align them in the center. Line in the middle. And then we're done, but we know values. Values we want to be centered, so we want these to be centered, the dollar amounts to be centered. So let's center those, align. The text we're going to leave to the left. And then we're good. All right. So that's it. That's it for today. Not too bad. So now you guys have a full hour to do that. So go into DC Connect. Sure the assignment is there. I thought I had it pulled up. It's not pulled up. So let me pull it up. Oh. No. Where did it go? Where did it go? There we go. There it is. Awesome. So there's today's assignment. Okay. So we'll be using if and ifs. We're mostly going to use ifs, and to associate the type of membership from lab 2 to price for the membership. So for the prices, if you go down, right? So keep in mind, make sure you make the changes that I already talked about. First thing I want you to do is I want you to double the quantity. So you have 5 people now signed up for your DC Skills Camp. I want you to make 5 more. So I want you to have 10, so we can actually have some more data. The names and dates and everything can be just, I don't care, just make them up, doesn't matter. Okay. It's just so we're going to have some data. And then, and make sure there's no duplicates, obviously. Okay. For your if statements, for what we covered in class, we had 3 types last week. We had weekly, monthly, and annual. So we're going to add a price to those. The price for a weekly membership is $60. A monthly membership will be $200, and annual membership will be $1,700. Okay. You're going to make another column labeled type of payment with the drop-down options: Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. You're going to merge the headings like we talked about in class. So horizontally, you're also going to align them. Vertically and horizontally, like we talked about. Oh, one last thing, the formula bar. So in order to submit, this is key. Everyone pay attention. Focus, focus, focus for 1 sec. Okay. Nope, that's not the one I want. Is that the right one? I guess it is. For you to submit, I need you to go to view. So see up here in your toolbar, your pull down, go to view. You're going to go show, and you can go show formulas. And when you do that, I can now see the formulas for your cells. Okay, so I want you to click on that so I can see the whole formula, and then do a screenshot and then submit it that way. Does that make sense? Do not submit it as a PDF. Do it as a screenshot. I find it sometimes the PDF, it's a little wonky. Okay. So you're going to submit it that way so that I can see that spreadsheet. You put in the formulas correctly. Questions? Awesome. All right, guys. Have at her. I will be here if you have any questions. It is due at the end of the class. Remember, this is DC Skills Camp. Okay, so make sure you change it, not Dimba. Make sure you have the right spreadsheet you're working on. Now remember, once you guys have submitted, you are good to go. And I will see you guys in class bright and early, 10 after 10 in room. Does everyone know what room we're meeting in? Let me just double check that.
Derek, can you pull up the document again real quick?
Yep. Is that it? No, wrong one. Sorry. Might be a better way to do this. There you go.
Thank you.
Remember, you're making changes to your first assignment if you didn't get a perfect last time. I don't want to continue to have to take marks off. Oh, I was thinking.
And do the columns have to be in the exact order that you have them there?
They don't have to be, but like remember I mentioned earlier about making sure the headings make sense. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Contact info
Okay.
together. And yeah, it should be, and it should be pretty close. I don't know why it'd be too far off of this. I mean, but
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
You want 5 new people added to the thing, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, right now you only have 5 people, so make up another 5.
And you can make them up. You don't have to like have exact information.
Right. Just make it different from previous stuff. Don't copy and paste the names. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no password. So weird.
Derek, does it matter how much the columns are spaced out or no?
No, right now it should look very similar to mine. I'm not sure. Like it shouldn't be anything like this. I mean, it shouldn't be anything crazy.
Yeah,
but-
no, yes. No, yeah. I'm just okay.
Yeah.
So I'm adding the new people for like the list, and I'm not sure why my date of birth are like, so I have like my first 5 are like actually like spelt out like August 27, 2020, and then the new 5 are all doing like the actual numbers. I'm not sure how to change that.
Yeah, so just you got all the dates in?
Yeah.
So what it is remember when we set the format, we highlighted just the first 5 or whatever.
Uh,
So what we need to do now is we need to highlight them all because you haven't formatted all of the cells. You've only formatted the first 5. So then we're going to highlight all of them, format, the number, and then it'll give us options. And we go down to date, and then you'll pick the one that you want. See down here?
oh, okay.
That's
Thank
why.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.